This is the easiest iron farm for Minecraft Bedrock, and it's going to generate about 400 iron every single hour, so settle in and let's build. Alright, the first thing you want to do is make sure that this farm is at least 150 blocks away from all other villages, villager breeders, villager trading halls, other iron farms, all of that fun stuff. That is the most important thing. And when picking a location, you want to have it close enough to your base that you're going to be loading it, but far enough away that you're at least 48 blocks away from your bed. So like wherever your bed is in your base, make sure you're at least 48 blocks away from that. And also make sure that there are no workstations within a 48 block area, particularly things like barrels, because you might actually be using those in your base, and make sure none of those are around or that is also going to break the farm. Now that you know where you're going to be building your farm, the first thing we're going to do is dig out a 5x5 square, and we're going to make this hole 8 blocks deep. Alright, and after digging out your 5x5x8 deep hole, this is what it should look like. Next, we're going to place down 2 rows of beds right here on both sides of the farm. We're then going to remove this center strip, and we're going to remove the blocks underneath of these beds to keep everything nice and compact. We're going to set down another set of beds just underneath of these beds, like so. And then we're going to set down a strip of blocks in between here and just fill this in. That way we don't have any, baby zombies or cats or whatever spawning inside here. Next, we're going to grab our workstations, and we're going to place down a workstation in the center. And then we're going to place down workstations in all of these locations like so. Go ahead and fill in the floor here, just like this. And then we're going to set down a torch in the center of the room. This is incredibly important. If you don't have this, there is the possibility that a zombie could spawn in with all of your villagers, turning all of your villagers into zombie villagers or just straight up killing them. So that torch is incredibly important. Next, we're going to dig out a rim of blocks going around this layer right here, and we're just going to remove all of this wall. We're then going to go to the wall that we've just exposed here, and we're going to remove this block, this block, this block, just in line with all of the other workstations, except for one side, we're going to leave one of these blank. Once you have all of those holes dug out, we're going to place in our workstations, and in case I didn't mention it already, you can use whatever workstation you would like. I'm using fletching tables because they're relatively cheap to make, and I mean, they're a block. You could use lecterns, you could use whatever you want, but once you have all 20 workstations in here, now it's time to get our villagers in here. And getting villagers inside of your farm has actually never been easier. Now that we can place leads on boats, just go to your nearest village and capture 2 villagers. Go ahead and hop in your hole now and bring these guys in with you. We can go ahead and remove the boat. They're going to go ahead and link up to the beds and workstations if they haven't already. This guy's just taking an extra minute. There we go. Once you have both villagers in here now, all you have to do is go ahead and give them either carrots, beetroot, potatoes, or bread, and they are going to go ahead and trade back and forth. Now, in my experience, you have to be around 5 blocks away in order for them to actually breed. So just dig yourself a little hole here and just give them bread every once in a while, and they're going to go ahead and breed. They might be distracted because they're working right now, but they are going to breed. So I'm just going to wait for them to toss the carrots back and forth. Alright, this is definitely the most time-consuming part, but as you can see, they are having the little love hearts. They've been throwing carrots back and forth, and then they're going to pop out a baby. Now, what you got to do now is just make sure that they keep breeding until we have a total of 20 villagers. So these guys are just going to keep doing the thing. Once that baby grows up, I guess the gene pool is going to be pretty small, but the more villagers you have, the faster this process is. Just make sure that you keep them fed, and again, make sure you're at least 5 blocks away. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but in my experience, they don't really like when you're standing up on them. And once you have 20 villagers, this is what it should look like. Now, you can continue building the farm while they're breeding. In fact, that's probably a better idea, just because it's going to take a while for them to breed. So we're just going to throw a giant cap over top of these guys, and again, I have 20 villagers here. This torch is very important. Just remember that torch. And we're going to fill this in just like this. So you should be left with the spawn platform, which is a 5x5 platform, which is 3 blocks deep. Now we're going to mine 3 blocks in every direction here. And we're just going to do this for the entire platform. All right, after digging out your chamber, this is what it should look like. You probably have some cats, maybe some iron golems, and if a wandering trader fill in, then you probably have one of those as well. But next, we're going to fill in these walls now with leaf blocks, just like this. What this is going to do is it's going to actually shorten the distance iron golems have to travel to get to the kill chamber, while keeping the spawn platform relatively large, because this is a valid spawn location for iron golems. However, if these weren't leaves and instead were regular blocks, then this would be the closest iron golem spawn location. So this is a much larger platform, and there is so many things falling into my hole. And guys, this is... Oh, okay. Oh, he's mad now. But yeah, so fill in the walls with leaves, and then pick one side. I'm going to choose this side as the front of my farm. So I'm just going to go ahead and set down 7 glass blocks right here, and we are going to make this the front of the farm. So just mark that out and then fill in the rest of the walls with leaves. Okay, after filling in your walls with leaves and glass, we're going to go to the glass wall now and remove these 2 blocks right here and replace them with hoppers. We're then going to go ahead and grab our signs now, and we're going to place down a sign right here. I'm just going to go ahead and pick block that so I don't have to keep opening up that window. And then I am going to place down signs along here and here. One right here, one right here, one right here, one right here. It's pretty symmetrical. And then we need to have one more right here, one right here, and one right here. So this is what it should look like. I'm just going to give you a couple angles because signs are really tricky to place down. Then all you got to do is place down your lava bucket right here. It's going to immediately start killing any columns that walk into it. And we can just go ahead and put this out temporarily. We're going to go over into this corner now. There are so many things. This is very stressful to build. We're going to place down a water bucket in this corner. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to punch you so that you get out of the way. And place down a block right here with another water bucket. These are going to push everything towards that lava pool right there. And then we're just going to go ahead and continue this until this touches the hopper. So we're going to go right here and right here. And one more, just like this and just like this. And now everything is over on the hopper now. So these cats unfortunately look like they're going to die, but we do actually need to rescue 5 of them so that way we aren't spawning cats inside this location. But before we do that, let's go ahead and remove these blocks so that way we have valid spawn locations, because if these blocks are still here, an iron golem actually won't spawn this high up. This is the highest possible spawn location, so those blocks need to be removed for iron golems to spawn in the entire platform. So this is what you should be left with now. We're going to come over here and remove 3 blocks down, dig out a 2x2 area right here. And if you want to get rid of these blocks, you can have a bit larger of an area to hang out in. And then we're going to place down 3 ladders on this wall, which is going to be our little AFK room. And also, because it's glass, you can actually just sit here and watch everything go down. So let's actually get these guys the ability to like come over here. So you can use fish to lure them into this room, and then we're going to have to tame 5 cats. All right, so by using raw cod, we can actually get cats into this little chamber here. So if I just crawl up here, the orange cat should come into the room. There we go. So we're just going to go ahead and tame both of these guys. Go ahead and push them. Okay, I mean, you could go through all of the effort. Actually, he can live there. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and place down our chest now. And of course, you could sit here and wait. But I have the ability to go into creative mode. So I'm going to spawn in 3 more cats and just go ahead and breed all of these, or tame all of them. So now that we have 5 cats here, we are only going to have iron golems spawn inside of this chamber. And the last thing we have to do, well, actually, there's 2 more things, but we need to hop back in here. We're going to grab our hoppers. We're going to remove these 3 blocks. Go ahead and place down a hopper right here, a hopper right here, and finally a hopper right here. And then place down a slab on top of that hopper. So that way the iron golems are going to die slightly quicker. And you need those hoppers there because unfortunately the iron that's on here or like sliding into here will not be picked up by that hopper underneath of the slab. So those hoppers are incredibly important. The last thing you need to do is you have to place down a wall going all the way around this perimeter here. Now you could raise this leaf layer up one if you like the aesthetic of having a leaf ring. I personally do, but for the sake of, using as few materials as possible, I'm just going to throw down a giant wall. And what this is going to do is it's going to make it so that things can't fall in here, because if like a cow were to fall in here, it could theoretically land on this slab. And I know I'm burning, but I'm 2 blocks tall, but the cow could stand on the slab and prevent the iron golems from properly dying. So having a wall here and preventing things from falling in is a huge bonus. And the last thing I'll say is we should probably place down a torch down here, just because you're going to be AFKing. And I believe I don't have a trapdoor in my inventory, but we're just going to grab a quick trap door and place down a trapdoor over top of this ladder. But as you can see, this thing has been spawning tons of golems just while we've been building it. If I go ahead and look here, you'll see we've got 23 iron, probably a little bit more after that guy just died. But this farm should produce around 400 iron per hour, which is absolutely incredible. If you did 8 hours of AFKing, 400 times 8 is 3,200 iron, which is a lot of stacks. I actually want to say 32 stacks exactly, I think. Don't quote me on that. 3,200 iron in 8 hours though. So this is an incredible farm, and it's incredibly easy to build. Also, one just final warning, when I actually placed down this hopper right here, I let the water drip in and it destroyed the torch. So just make sure you come back and replace that torch. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, then be sure to subscribe and leave a like. My name is 1UpMC, and I will catch you in the next one.